the Nets like control the draft. Like, I mean, do you think that's unfair?
No, they do. They have 5. What is it? 5 of 30 is what percent of the draft? It's 1/6.
17.
Yeah, they have 1/6 of the draft in their control right now.
They have, again, 8, 19, 22, 26, 27. Those are the picks.
It sounded like you were reading the lost numbers for a second.
What is it? It's like 4, 8, 16.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Yeah. My mom's
gonna be very happy I still remember those numbers, by the way. Shout out to Mrs. Claudio, the OG.
Oh my God. That's amazing. The Nets have to have something up their sleeve. There is no way that they're making 5 first-round picks. I can't imagine it next year. Or like them having 5 first-round rookies on their roster. That'd be crazy to me. Yeah, I think they're going to try and move up. Would be my read. Like my read is that they're not trying to like cash in on a star or anything. I think that they're trying to like go and move up and get the guys that they want in the draft.
Maybe you would know better.
Yeah, like for what it's worth, that's my vibe about this draft right now.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of the players that like certain teams want are, either just a little high or like a little bit lower. I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement in order to like just kind of go get your guys. Basically, it feels like we have to move up and go get our guys. And like this feeds into the question here, the super chat from Eric Bishop. Is San Antonio going for anyone? I don't see them mentioned for Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Brook Lopez or anybody. Look, I'll just say this. I think my colleague David Aldridge wrote this in the Center Confident, like the thing that he writes where he gets all the quotes and stuff. I think it's like the Confidential series or whatever. San Antonio, it feels like, is interested in him in Common Malawach. And I think that they will probably be interested in trying to get him if they can. I don't know what the price tag will be to try and get up into the range. The range they probably would have to get to is like 7 or 8, I would say, for him. I would want to jump Toronto. I would want to jump Phoenix at 9 and 10. So it's probably got to be 7 or 8. We can talk about whether or not this is something they should do. Maybe it's a smokescreen. Who knows? Like, could very well be something that they're just putting out there and everything. But like given that, I mean, look, DA is unimpeachable in my mind. David Aldridge is just the GOAT, basically. I think that's something worth noting. And look, it's been said to me like that there's interest behind the scenes, but the fact that DA made it public, I don't really have a problem saying it here. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as what the Nets do, I have no idea how real the Ace Bailey stuff is and how much mutual interest there is. Ace Bailey threw out the first pitch at the Mets game tonight, so he clearly has an interest in the Big Apple.
How'd the Mets do tonight, by the way?
They lost up 3-0. They lost their 10th of 11 games. Really don't want to talk about it. This is the weirdest tailspin for a team that I think is actually good, Sam.
Yeah. Weird tailspin, but hey, I root for the Pirates, so I can't say anything.
But to your point about identities, like we know what the Pirates are, right? Like they have Skeens, so every 5th day for 7 innings, you're going to get the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
The Mets had the best record in the sport 11 games ago. And then they went 1-10. 1-10. 0-5 against the Atlanta Braves, who like got their players back and they're good, whatever.
They figured things out. Yeah.
1-10. There's no Juan Soto's actually hitting. I missed the months when he was quote unquote bad with an under 750 OPS and everybody was saying that they wasted 15 years or whatever, but they had the best record in baseball. Now he's got a 1200 OPS over the last 2 weeks, Sam, and they're 1-10.
This is amazing.
It's baffling. It's 100 degrees in New York and everybody at Citi Field can't watch their baseball team that's allegedly good win right now. They have to watch them lose. It's very annoying. Sorry, continue with the basketball.
Genuinely crazy. What I would say about the Nets organizationally are, just from conversations, league wide over the last 5 years or whatever, right? The Nets are very good at telling people that they like them. Like the Nets are very good at making everybody feel like they're interested in everybody. The response, like basically to everyone, is like, yeah, we like that player. Yeah, we like that player. Right. And it's like the best possible way to throw smoke screens. Like, I don't say that as a negative. I say it as like a positive for how they handle the draft process. They basically just say, yeah, we like him. Like we are interested in him for sure. They basically say that to everybody. And the reason that I think there are always so many rumors about the Nets pre-draft, like this isn't new, like whenever they've had picks, it's always been this way, is because they'll like tell an agent, oh yeah, like, yeah, we like your guy a lot. And they say it about like everybody. And I don't know if it's an organizational mandate or whatever, or if they just have like a lot of guys that are like really good people. You know what I mean? That are just like, yeah, like, you know, we love them. Like we're interested for sure. Like we're intrigued. I say that to say, I think that the Nets like Ace. I think the Nets probably like Con Knipple. I think the Nets like Trey Johnson. Like I think the Nets like Jeremiah Fears. Yeah. Right. So what order those players are in that they like them? That's anybody's guess to me, to be honest.
So what you're saying is that they're going to use the picks they have and the roster that they have available to trade up to draft Ace Bailey, Con Knipple, and Jeremiah Fears. And then they'll have those three and that big three going forward in Brooklyn. And I did see a rumor get floated out there today that RJ Barrett and whatever Toronto's pick was going to end up in Brooklyn as well. RJ Barrett coming back to the Big Apple. Sure. Why not?
Whatever.
Those Nets games will be even more fun. Yes. Why not?
Like, yeah. Like the thing is that, and again, like I actually say this is a credit to the Nets. I don't mean this negatively at all when I say this. Like it just tends to be their response to things is that they like them. Right. And I think that that's why so many players get connected with the Nets at the end of the day, is because they just say that they like everybody. And that's what it is. Right.
So then hypothetically, because I know there's been a lot of talk about what Philly might do, that they want to trade back most likely.
Sure.
So like hypothetically, they really like Ace. They think 4 is the spot they have to go to. And maybe you can add some insight on this from your just flat out insight. Like, is Philly trading back to 4 so that way Charlotte can take like VJ Edgecombe at 3, and then Philly trades back again and gets 2, maybe even 3 of the Nets picks, which is like they get 8 and they get the 2 picks in the 20s, and then they get Ace. To me, that's a little much for Ace Bailey, but again, this is where I'm going to you for your insight on how probable that would be for tomorrow.
So 2 super chats here. Brian Pumper, what's the likelihood Maury says, F it, I'm taking Ace. Maury be zagging while everyone else zigging. Exhibit A last year with the Golden Guys pickups. I don't even know what that means, but I do know that, obviously they took Jared McCain last year, which I think people thought that they liked him, but like weren't totally sure. And then Antonio Spurs asks, is Ace this good of a prospect for him to get to decide where he wants to go? Why didn't Zion get to do this when New Orleans got number 1? So here's the thing about getting to decide where you want to go. We'll start there and then I'll get to your question. I promise, Andrew. Mm-hmm. And then we really have to go after this because I honestly have 3 more phone calls I have to make before I mock draft and do everything and update stuff.
You got it. It's 12:30 where I am. So that's perfect.
Yeah. So the thing about holding leverage is if you are like, it's like a Goldilocks zone where you get to actually hold the leverage where it matters, right? If you're too good, like Cooper Flagg weirdly right now does not have any leverage. Like if he didn't want to go to Dallas, it wouldn't matter because he's too good. They're going to take him anyway. Right. It's kind of the same with the Giannis negotiations if they ever happen. Right. Giannis might try to dictate where he would want to go, But because if he asks out, I don't think he's asked out, but like if he was to ask out this summer, he might try to want to dictate where he wants to go. But at the end of the day, Giannis is so good that teams around the league will just say, screw it. We're going for it. Like we're going to get Giannis. Giannis is a good dude. We're going to compete for a title for 2 years and we're going for it. This is great. Right. Ace is kind of actually in the Goldilocks zone where because he is a polarizing player and not everybody loves him, he actually kind of gets to dictate this a little bit more than what other players do, I think. Like, I even think Dylan Harper would struggle to dictate a little bit right now. Like, because I think the Spurs would just say, screw it, we're taking you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's a little bit harder, I think, in that respect. To answer your question on what exactly was it? It was like, what is Philly doing? Basically?
Yeah, like could Philly potentially help facilitate the Nets moving up to get Ace if that's a move? That's how the Nets wanted to use their picks.
Look, I think listeners of this show have understood for a while that I think Philadelphia, I think their best move is to trade down here. I don't know if they're going to or not. What I will say is that I think Daryl Morey in Philadelphia, regardless of the outcome here, maybe they just take VJ Edgecombe, right? And that's where it ends. I think that they've played the way that they feel about players very well. Because if you notice, the only two guys that have gotten leaked out, and for what it's worth, like, I don't believe, but I don't know for sure that they've had, anybody else for number 3 in, right? But like, to me, it was probably quite purposeful that they let everybody know that VJ was coming in ahead of time, because VJ is the guy that most other teams want. I would say, like, it's not like universal that VJ Edgecombe is the number 3 prospect in this class, but it is probably a consensus league wide. Like, I would say that, over 50% of the league probably would have VJ at 3 or something like that. Maybe not 50, but like, he'd be the guy that most other teams would want. I don't know what the number would be, right? He'd be the guy that most teams would want, right? By leaking that and knowing that other teams want him and that probably Charlotte wants him as well, because he's the perfect fit for Charlotte, and that seems like who they had wanted, right? You're leveraging yourself against Charlotte, and you're creating leverage league wide for a potential trade down if you're them. So maybe they just had VJ in and they liked him so much that they're going to take him. Like, that would be completely reasonable to me. I think that makes total sense. But then notice the other guy they tried to get in. They tried to get in Ace. It feels like New Orleans, Brooklyn, Washington, a few of these teams, 6, 7, 8, who have stuff that you might want Ace, right? So what do? Try to schedule a public workout with Ace. Let Jake Fisher know that, we're trying to get Ace in, right? Makes sense to me. If you're trying to build trade value, if you're trying to build value for the pick, regardless of if it's you just decide to take VJ because you love him, or, maybe you decide to shock the world and take Trey Johnson, or you decide, screw it, we're going to take Ace, like whatever it is. I think Ace would surprise me at this point personally, just because he doesn't seem like a Morey guy to me. I've said that on the show yesterday, but by creating this mystery on some level and by leaking the guy that the majority of teams like, you've held the value of the pick. And now, come when they're on the clock, maybe beforehand, who knows? Maybe Charlotte tries to get up. Maybe New Orleans decides, no, we will offer Herb Jones in number 7.
Dear God.
I know. No, I know. It'd be crazy. But here's the other thing now. The reason that I've always liked number 3 for number 4 and stuff, right? And like a small amount is because, okay, Charlotte takes VJ, right? Number 3. You still hold the draft in your hands at 4 at that point. So you still get to go out and continue to have high leverage on these things, right? And the only guy that you've had in or tried to have in now that's left on the board is Ace. So, if, can you convince somebody that you'll take him? I think the way that Philly has played this has been so smart. I think they have been so sharp, so smart. I think they handled this as well as they possibly could have, is my opinion. What we'll see where it ends. I don't know where it's going to end. People are acting like VJ is actually, no, I think that's a mischaracterization. I don't think people are acting like VJ is a done deal, but like, I don't know if, I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. And I think that is a credit to them that they've played this very well.
Well, as a result, we also don't know what the Nets are going to do with 1/6 of the NBA draft in their control. Be fascinating to see what happens Wednesday night.
Yeah, like if the Sixers ended draft night with, let's say, having gotten off the Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon deals, 2 second-round picks from Charlotte, and then like Con Knipple at 8, number 19 and number 22.
Man,
that feels like a pretty good night for them, right?
If they end up with Con Knipple, I'll be, again, from the Knicks perspective, very annoyed, which tells you how good I think Con Knipple will be as a pro. And then impressed from the unbiased basketball from that perspective of just like, oh yeah, good job, Philly, while recognizing, oh, it's annoying that Philly just got better.
Yeah, like I think that, and look, like they might miss on the picks. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? They're draft picks, right? It truly could be anything. But I think you just don't know. And I think that they have done exceedingly well to this point, I think is what I would say. Now we'll see if they screw it up on draft night. Right?
So by the way, Golden Boys or Golden Guys, that the reference was to the olds, like the old people that were on the Philadelphia 76ers, the Eric Gordons, the Paul George, the Andre Drummonds.
Well, that didn't go super well.
Yeah. So that's what Golden Guys meant.
That's very funny. But yeah, very, very funny.
Yeah.